and welcome to my channel, Influence Colorist. Today I'm doing a Christmas in July coloring video, but it is also a companion video to my last few videos on the coloring book scavenger hunt. If you haven't watched those videos, I'll leave the link down below. Item number 6 in the scavenger hunt is Santa, so I'll be coloring in this winter book by Rita Berman. I am in love with this Santa. Some versions of Santa can be a little scary looking, but he is the perfect cute and jolly Santa. I'll be using a variety of mediums today, and will speed up the video and explain as I go. All right, I'll be using these decorating chalks by Close to My Heart. It comes from my old scrapbooking days. Using some Q-tips and some little cotton pads to help spread the chalk around. These work very similar to the Pebbles chalks, or even like a pan pastel. They're not as creamy, but you still are able to use the soft tools or cotton pads instead of scraping. I also like how they're very pigmented, so just using a little bit goes a long way. I'll be working with this teal color, and I'm going to take this Q-tip that has a really fine tip on it, and I'm going to use that to get into all these little tight areas and move that chalk around. And then I take that little cotton pad and I can just kind of swipe it on that color and then just wipe it onto the page. It actually erases really good with the electric eraser, so I'm just going to kind of go over all the little circles because I know I can take that electric eraser and erase little areas that I want kept white. All right, and then I thought I would experiment. I know this works with inks. I wasn't sure how it would work with chalks, but I'm gonna spritz a little bit of water on here just to add texture. But it really, once it dried, you couldn't really see it. All right, and then next I'm going to take some gouache paint, and I'm mixing a little bit of water in there. I'm just gonna make it a little bit more translucent. So this is a white gouache. And then I'll also be using a titanium white, which has a little bit more of a yellow hue to it. But I'm just wanting it to kind of lighten up those dark, harsh lines because I want this to look really white and fluffy. So I want there to be some difference between his beard and the coat and the little fluff ball on his hat. So I'm going to be using the titanium white, and that's going to be for these other areas. So I'm still going to kind of white out these areas, make it a little bit more textured around his hat and the collar of his coat. All right, onto these little branches up here at the top. So I'm just gonna use some color pencils, some nice dark browns, and color the branch first. And I'm getting my gouache back out. I have some deep greens, and then I have some pale greens. So I'm just gonna make these little marks, just kind of, I wanna make them a little bit more heavy evergreen look to it. So just making a bunch of little dash lines all over there. And sometimes I add a little bit more water to the brush just to make some of the little bristles lighter. And then I'm gonna do some of the pale green on top of that. right, and then I'll be using some Prisma colors for the skin tone and the cheeks. All right, for his hat and his coat and bag, I'm going to be using some Polychromos. I haven't used Polychromos in a while. I've been using my Prisma colors, and I forgot how long it takes to kind of blend all these colors. But I really liked the reds in the Polychromos, and I just thought they would be a lot more vibrant and kind of deeper shades. And so I just go back and forth between about 3 shades of red. A medium, a more kind of orangey red, and then a nice deep, almost purple red. And I just work those colors, the darker ones, in the little creases and in shadows. And then I use that more orangey one to help kind of blend all those colors and lighten up in some of the highlighted areas. And I wanted this side to have a little bit more lighter or highlighted effect, so I'm going to be using a pink instead of that more orangey red as my blending. I'm still using that orangey red, as you can see, but the pink just makes it a little bit lighter in some of those swirl areas. Alright, and then for the trim of his jacket, I'm just going to stay with the red shades and adding this more purpley, darker red into the shadow creases. And then I'm going to use that pink shade just to make it a little bit lighter, and I want it to have a little bit different shade than the rest of the jacket. Alright, and then the glove is going to be this nice dark green. So I'm going to start out with a kind of medium tone green just to get kind of a base layer. And then I'm going to go through with a really dark hunter green and just add some more dimension and shadow. And then I go back and forth between those two colors, and then I'm going to hit it with a lighter shade of green. That is actually a Prisma color, just to kind of help blend out those colors. And I think I'll do this present a green present. I want a nice balance of the green since I have this really dark green branch up at the top left-hand corner. I wanted to add some green down on the other side and up in this corner. All right, and then for my gold accents here, I'm going to be using a gold color pencil. And I might also use bronze too. I kind of go back and forth between the gold and the bronze. And then also this more goldeny yellow, but there's no metallic in that. So I start out with that yellow color. And then I'll use that gold or bronze color to kind of add some shadows or more tarnished look around. And I'll be using those same colors for these swirls that are on the left side. Some go on the jacket and then some kind of come up in the air. I had a hard time determining whether I wanted to make this look like wind or some part of weather or leave it white, but I saw another page that had these gold swirls, so I decided I liked that, so I'm going to stick with that gold look. I like the look of the gold pencil all by itself, but I felt like it needed to be brightened up a little bit, so that is why I include that more yellow golden tone to kind of help brighten everything up and blend it out. All right, and then I'll add a few more gold accents up here to the top corner. Okay, I added a blue as an additional color to the page, but for the most part, I'm sticking with the same colors I've been using in the reds and green shades. All right, I'm going to be working on the hat, his coat collar, and the little fluff ball here at the end of his hat. And I want there to be a difference between this white and the white beard. So I'm using more of like a beige and kind of a yellowish beige color for his clothes accent, all the little white areas from his clothes. And then for his beard, I'm going to be using more of the gray tones. So just taking a light gray now, kind of working on where I want my shadows. Again, I want it to look pretty white and fluffy, but it does need to have some shadow areas. And I also take a really pale blue to kind of highlight some other areas. And I'll just kind of go back and forth between a medium and a dark gray just to get into those little areas, separate the little different folds of his hair. All right, and then using the gouache paint again, I'm gonna just dab on and fill up some of these little snowfall circles. I'm also gonna take a Posca pen and add additional little snow dots. And also in our little branch up here. All right, and then I didn't record it, but I did fill in the stars with a gold gel pen. Okay, here is my finished Santa. Thanks for watching this Christmas in July coloring.